object-oriented programming. These are list of contents. So first we'll discuss about what is an object-oriented programming. So in object-oriented programming, what is a class? And there are three fundamental features of object-oriented programming. Then encapsulation. In encapsulation, we'll discuss about what is encapsulation, and finally we'll discuss about defining classes in Python. So first, what is object-oriented programming? According to the definition in Wikipedia, object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concept of objects which can contain data in the form of fields known as attributes or properties, and the code in the form of procedures often known as methods. This is a definition of object-oriented programming language which is available in Wikipedia. Generally, Python is an object-oriented program. So examples of object-oriented programming is C++, Java, and Python. Python is an object-oriented programming language. If you want to understand what is this object-oriented programming language, you need to go in detail about object-oriented programming language. Then you can understand what is object-oriented programming language. In single line or in single sentence, you can't understand what is object-oriented programming language. Okay, so first we need to know about what is a class. So everything in this world is generally treated in the form of object. So in the real world or the physical world, what we see, so like water bottle, pen, duster, board, okay, everything we see, right, or a particular human being or some animals, a school bag, books, everything what we see in the real world is treated in the form of object. We call them as an object. So in the same way, when you divide some set of objects into a certain class or certain type of thing, then it is called a class. So for example, all the living things in this world is categorized into animals, or animals are divided into different categories or called different classes. Right? If you take human as a class, right, a human is again divided. Human is a class which belongs to an animal class. Human is also treated as an animal. Right? If you consider one particular person, you all of you think about yourself on your own. If you are treating as an object, so you belongs to a particular class called male or female. Then you also belongs to a class called a human. So you also belongs to a class called a religion. You also belongs to a class called, right, caste. Right. So like this, when you consider an object may belong to a different class. For example, if you take a particular car, a car is a belongs to a particular class called car, and it belongs to different categories. Right? If you take a car of Mercedes-Benz class, then it again divides into many number of classes like class A, class B, class C, class D, and so on. Right? So if you take any object in this world, they are divided into many number of classes. They derive the properties of many classes. Right? So when we go in depth about this object-oriented programming language, then you will understand what these class and objects are. For just now, you imagine everything in this world is treated as an object, and they belongs to certain class, right? But according to the programming language, class and object so is defined in different ways. So a class here, it is defined like this. A class specifies a set of instance variables and methods that are bundled together for developing a type of object. So this is a definition given in the textbook, but when compared with when you go to some other areas, the class definition will define in some other way. See, here in Python programming language or in any object-oriented programming language, class will be defined like it's a combination of variables and methods. So, but actually, the class is a description of set of objects which share attributes, similar kind of attributes and operations. So you will get this kind of definition in UML, so which will you will use in designing stage. So generally at this level, please remember class is like a set or it is like a block which contains some set of variables and some set of methods, right, which were grouped together into a particular name called class. For example, so like we discussed in the previous class, a list is a built-in type, and whatever the list you are creating in your program, that will act like a reference variable to the list, and whatever the features that the list is having, built-in list is having, those you can use them with the help of that identifier which is assigned to list by using a dot operator. So in the same way, string is also a built-in library in Python, and whatever the strings you are creating in your program, in your environment, is treated like a reference variable to an inbuilt string class in Python programming language. So here is an example given. So for example, name is an identifier you used to represent John Smith, and street is an identifier which represents to a string some street name, and then city, or you can give some other variable like state, so which represents to this particular string. And whereas zip underscore code is a identifier which is representing to this particular string which stores some kind of numeric values, and even that was represented as a yeah, because the strings, all strings should be represented in single quotes or in double quotes in any object-oriented programming languages. Okay, so in Python also you have to represent the string in single quotes or in double quotes. So here zip contains this string. Okay, so now if you see, there are many methods that were defined to a string. Lot we discussed while we are discussing about strings. So here, for example, isDigit is a method we need to use on these variables, right, or identifiers, name, state, etc. So name is having some John Smith as a string. So isDigit name is an identifier which acts as a reference variable to a string John Smith, and now you are on that identifier by using dot operator. You are going to call a built-in string class method isDigit, right? So this is going to return it false because it is not a digit, it is a string. Okay, so next, city underscore state, it is also a digit, so it is not, it is a string, so it returns false. So in the same way, address is digit, address dot is digit, it is also a string, so it is going to display false. Next, zip underscore code dot is digit, so it is going to return true. Only this zip underscore code is going to return true because it contains digits, right? Even though it is treated as a string, but it actually contains a numbers or digits, so it is going to return true. So please remember here, this all these names, address, city, or state or zip underscore code, all these reference variables are acting like a reference variables to a built-in class, and all the built-in string class contains methods are accessible by using this identifier with a dot operator. Okay, this is like what we discussed in the previous classes like list. Now there are three fundamental features of object-oriented programming language. They are encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So now we'll discuss about encapsulation. So while before going to encapsulation, you need to know that there are two or more objects and there is a possibility of exchanging the messages between two or more objects through certain methods. For example, this is an object A where it is representing to certain class A, and this is an object B which is representing to a certain class like B, and by using a method A1, it is going to send some parameters, or it is going to send some message, and this method B1 is going to receive this messages sent by, okay, object A. Right? Object B is going to receive a message which is sent by object A, or object A is sending a message to object B. So it is possible in object-oriented programming language. Now we'll discuss about encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but binding something into a single unit. So this binding in this Python programming language is done on different variables and methods, and it is defined with some name called class. By using a keyword class, you are able to encapsulate different variables and the methods. So we'll see with an example so that you can understand what this encapsulation is and what this class is. So please remember, class is a keyword which will help us in binding many two or more variables and many methods into a single unit, which is called as an encapsulation. And while you are encapsulating, there is a possibility that you can hide some of the things that will be invisible, that will not be visible to others or outside of that group or the class, which is called as an abstraction. Okay, selected members of a class can be made inaccessible or hidden from its client, referred to be information hiding. Okay, this is called an information hiding, and it is represented as an abstraction. So the abstraction is also a kind of object-oriented concept. So now let us see with an example which is given in this textbook. Okay, Charles Durbach. So this is a class. Okay, and the name of the class is fraction. The name of this class is fraction, and this fraction class contains two attributes, okay, numerator and denominator, where they are preceded with two underscores. These two underscores are representing to a private member of the class. Okay, so now these are the two variables, new underscore numerator and underscore denominator are the two private variables of the class, and these are some methods: get numerator, get denominator, set numerator, and set denominators are the methods that were defined in this class called fraction. Okay, and these private variables can be accessible by all these methods which are defined in this fraction class. And out of this class, okay, if you try to access this numerator and denominator variables, they cannot be accessed even though you create an object or a reference variable to this class like FRAC1. FRAC1 in this diagram is representing to the object of this fraction class, and they can access this, or this object can access all these methods, but directly this object cannot access these two variables because they are private. Okay, now let us see this example how it is going to work. Okay, let's see here. So the same thing. So FAC1 will act as an uh, object to a fraction class, and by using the fraction class, if you try to access this variable underscore underscore numerator, which is not allowed, okay, in the same way denominator, and all the remaining methods which are generally treated as a public, okay, so then they are accessible, right? So this underscore underscore representation on variables or on methods, if you proceed with two underscores for the variables or methods in a class, then they are said to be private members, right? If you don't give any underscores with preceding these variables or methods, then by default they are treated as a public in Python. So get numerator, get denominator, set numerator, set denominator are treated as a public members of the class, whereas underscore underscore numerator and underscore underscore denominator are treated as a private variables of the class. So in order to understand this, so it will be very difficult for you to understand this. So I'll switch to a small example and then I will come back to this example again so that you can understand it very easily. Okay. So let us take a small example. Right? So a class in Python is defined with the keyword called class, CLASS class, and the name of the class is should begin with capital letter. So according to the naming convention, so class name should begin with capital letter, and if it contains more than one number of words, we add by. So by is another word. So B should be capital letter by one. Okay, ONE one. So this is a combination of two or more methods. So according to the naming convention, so first letter should be capital in each word. Right? Right? So here A is capital letter, by is another word, so B is capital letter, one is another word, so one is a capital letter. O is capital letter, sorry. So next, this class is a combination of variables and different methods. So it can contain many variables and many methods. See here, there is only one variable A and which is assigned to 10, and there is only one method which is add. Okay, name of this method is add, and it contains two parameters, this and comma b. So we'll discuss about what is this and b. So this is a definition of the function here. So I'll come to this. So this part is treated like a main in C programming language. So I'm writing it in comments. So main part, so where a programming begins from this point. Okay, the main part of the program. So where execution first begins here. See here, obj1, okay, is assigned with a class name OMP, add by one, okay, and with empty parameters. So when it is passed with empty parameters, then by default it is going to pass the represent to this class, or it is representing to a predefined class, which is a class that belongs to all parent of all classes in Python, that is object. Okay, so now whenever this is created, then the object is passed as a parameter. And now see here, by using this, whenever you execute this line, then all the identities of all the entities of this class, all the members of this class are known to, okay, obj1. So this will be called as an object, and this is a class. Okay, obj1 is acting as a reference variable to this class, right, to this class. Now by using this obj1, you can call this methods which is defined in this class And you can also call variable, right? So for example, if you want to see the value of a, right, you can see the value of a from here by print obj1 obj object for the class add by 1, and by using dot operator call the variable. And if you want to call a method, so then object dot object1 dot add of the parameter what you are passing is only one, whereas this parameter, so add contains two parameters, this and b. See, this is a parameter which will be passed like a default, so which will help us in identifying this particular variables of the class or class variable. See here, this dot a, here it is representing to this a, right? This dot a here is representing to the a which is returned here, which is assigned value to 10, is added with b which is you passed at this point, right? So b is 10, so I'll change this value, right? In order to better understand, I'm changing this value to 5, right? Now it is b value is treated as a 5, and this is like a default variable. You can write on your own, you can make this, you can change this as a self, or you can change it to any other identity. So this dot a is representing to a class member a, and b is a member that is only known inside the definition of this function add. So the scope of b is this, okay, definition of the function. Within the definition of the function, the scope of a is in the entire class, okay. This dot a is representing to the class member a, and b is representing to a local variable for the function add, okay. So now addition takes place and totally assigned to a variable a. Now a value will be changed, and that same a value will be written down to the screen. And if you want to know the address of the object what you created for this class add by 1, so use id obj1, so which id stores the address of this entire class, which will act as a reference variable to this entire class. Now I'll save this and I will execute this. See here. So 10, okay. So before calculating the value of a is 10, so you are calling add method, then it is going to change, it is going to perform this operation, and it is returning this value, and the value what it is going to return is added content, so that is 15, so which will be printed it onto the screen, and then this value here is representing to the address of this object, okay. So this is a simple example program for class.